Hi everyone. Today we'll discuss about an interview experience of 5 to 8 year experience, testing experience, uh, who applied for senior automation tester role. And I have noted down all the interview questions over here. So we'll go one by one, and also have noted down what could be the proper answer for that interview questions. So this is the recent interview held in one of the software company in Bangalore, and we'll see one by one. Okay, so the first question they have asked, like, elaborate your testing experience. So whenever they ask these type of question, so rather than saying about your experience, so you how many companies you have worked or what is your qualification, just start with the your testing experience. Okay, so like here if you see a sample answer of this one is like, I'm a test automation engineer with about 6.4 years of experience, primarily building and maintaining Selenium based automation framework using Java and any other programming language. If you know, then you can mention over here. I design BDD style test suites with phase object model for readability and reuse, integrate tests into CI/CD pipelines, and handle flaky tests through robust weight strategies, proper test data management, and stable locator strategies. Also, I also mentor juniors and work closely with devs to shift left testing and improve testability. Recently, I led migration of X test. You can mention over number of tests you have worked on to a parallel Dockerized execution grid, which cut daily regression time by some percentage. You can mention like 10%, 20%, or 30%, that you can mention. Basically, the recruiter wants to see over here, the interviewer wants to see over here, what are the things you know, and in your overall career of experience, that what are the things you have done. Only you have written the framework or the test scripts, or you have executed that, and you have verified the failures, and how you have done the test data management, how you have handled the failures like the flaky test failures, or did you use weight strategies or not. So what are the things, as per you have given the best to the to the project and improved the project. So according, so these things they wanted to know. So you have to mention these things on the elaborate your testing experience. Then the question asked is, what is your automation framework architecture? So here you have to tell about the architecture, what you have worked so far. Like if somebody works in the test automation framework or BDD framework, then they can mention about the framework is of developed of Cucumber JUnit framework or an unit framework, which is having step definition, or if you are mentioning about data-driven testing with TestNG, then you can mention about TestNG and Maven framework over there. Also, you can mention about if you've done the page object for UI interactions, you have used the page object, and what are the utilities folders are there in your framework. It is for utilities folders. You will find it for configuration properties, for logging the failures, and then also for weight strategies you will have the utilities folder. So these all are things you need to mention. Then any service clients you have used, like to create data for the specific test cases or test scripts, you have created data that is helping while running the framework. So that is called the API helpers, that also you can mention. Then test data. So test data, how you are getting the test data from the third party, or you are using the test data factory or fixtures. Then the total framework you can explain about how it is built. It is used in Dockerized way or cloud based. It is where it is running, which CI/CD pipeline it is running. How the trip builds are triggered over there. Are you using Azure DevOps or the Jenkins to run the pipeline? And then once the pipelines are done, how you have segregated your pipeline. If you have 1500 or 2000 test cases, then how you are segregated, how your test suits are running. Either you are running with the suits or regression suits, that also you need to mention. Then which report tool you have used. Either you are using allure report or extend report. And once the test case is, sorry, the test scripts is completed, the test suite is completed, then did you getting the notification for that or not? How many failures are there? How you are getting the failures? Then how you are how you are checking the failures. So these things we need to mention under the automation framework architecture. So the next question is, what are the key delivers with respect to testing phase? Okay, so here the interviewer wants to check that the what are the steps you are what are the steps you are checking before testing your test cases or user stories that you are getting. Okay, or you are building the test scripts, then what it is you are checking, that you have to mention over here. So that what exactly you will explain over here is like your test plan includes what. So your test plan will include the test cases, test data, automation scripts, right? And what are the reports, execution reports and defect reports. And then you have to explain about the test summary report as well. And then how you are documenting this. So these together validate that testing is complete and quality goals are met. So that you have to explain over there. Okay, the next question comes is, if a new feature comes, how will you design test cases and what components will you add? So this we need to check right now. So like if new feature comes, suppose you are working on an agile methodology, so you know that the agile methodology is depends upon the sprint basis, right? And each sprint you will get a feature. So under that feature, new feature, you will have a different separate user stories related to that feature. And then you have to design the test cases related to that user story, right? So what exactly you have to give the answer over here is, first you have to understand the requirement and acceptance criteria for the feature. Okay, first go through with the requirement, go through with the acceptance criteria. If you are not getting that, then connect with your POs or your developer teams or your business BD people. So who are all developed these. So connect with them and understand the acceptance criteria and requirement first. Then identify the scenarios based upon your user stories. So under the user stories, you can see that again the feature is divided into chunks of user stories, right? And each user stories will have their own acceptance criteria and requirement. Then check that your acceptance criteria and identify the scenarios. So you have to identify the positive, negative, edge case scenarios, usability scenarios, or integration scenarios over there. Then according to the scenarios, you have to prepare the test cases where you have to mention the preconditions, test steps, and test data. Okay, so what are the expected result when you execute that? That also you need to mention. Then the post conditions, what exactly it is required. So that also you have to mention over there. Then once the test case is prepared, then you have to define the environment. So either any data dependencies is over there and which environment you are going to test. Either it is dev environment or staging environment, QA environment, where exactly you wanted to test this one. That also you need to mention over there. Then once it is mentioned, then you have to add these test cases to your smoke or regression based upon your impact of that test user story and or your feature. Okay, if it is impacting the complete regression cycles, then you have to add these new test cases in your regression cycle, so that once the feature is developed, then when you are doing the regression testing, they will testers will test that test cases according to that for the new feature. Okay, so once it is done, the testing is done, then we will think about the tester will think about the automation, whether it is good test case or good scenario to automate or not. If it is automation is required for that, then you have to update the page object, step definitions, tag, GIP pipeline for that. Everything you have to automate. You have to create a new test scripts based upon your test cases. Okay, so that's what. If you have to mention when any new feature comes, then how you are going to design the test cases. If interview asks what components in a test case that you have to mention, that while creating a test case, what are the components you have to use. So first you have to give the test case ID for that, requirement ID, which is related to your user story, that you have to give. Then the title of that user test case. Then the preconditions, that is what are the precondition is required before executing the test case, that we need to mention. Then any test data is required, that also you need to mention. Then you will start with the test steps. Under the test steps you will mention the how you will execute the exact actions and the expected result for that. So it will be actual and expected result over there. Then the status you have to mention, either it is pass or fail. Then post conditions after that, and some either any screenshots or attachment is there for the specific application, that also you can mention over there. Okay.